Yo, up next, I'm gonna make a screamer pipe. In case you don't know what a screamer pipe is this is your wastegate. So when you get too much boost pressure, it wastes exhaust out this port, so it slows down the turbo. And a screamer pipe goes right down onto the ground. Some people shoot them out the top of the hood, some people shoot them out the side. A lot of times they're really loud. They're actually supposed to be tied into your exhaust pipe. It should come out and go right back into your pipe. Some turbochargers have internal wastegates, but this is obviously external. And it shouldn't make that much noise. It shouldn't scream that much because I'm going to be squeezing every drip of boost out of this turbo I can. So it should only, this wastegate should only open up at full boost, like when I get a hell of a lot of pressure. So on a little turbo, small boost applications, these make a lot of noise, but this one shouldn't be that loud. So I'm just going to dump it right down on the ground. I just bought some pre-mandrel bent pipe, and these adapters came with that knockoff Chinese wastegate. So I'm gonna need this one here, and I gotta bolt this one up, and I gotta cut some chunks of pipe and weld it all together so it works right. I don't think I'm gonna use an exhaust gasket on this either. Wow, there's like no room in there. I think I'm gonna start by making a cut right here. It's gonna be something like this. And I think I'm going to start by making a really bad cut, and then I'm just going to kind of go from there. I'll end up grinding it down until I fit it right. Yeah, not quite happening yet. Cut a little chunk off of it, made it a little shorter. Just gonna put some marks on here so I kind of get a general idea. Gotta whack a little more off of that. I'm gonna use one of these. These are extremely dangerous. I cut the tip of my thumb off with one of these once. Sometimes they like to explode too. Pieces of it just go flying everywhere. I don't like them. Well, that's a good start. I really don't want to do any welding on the car, so I'm just going to mark this. Try to weld it off the car. I'm just going to tack it down and make sure it looks nice. Okay, I'm gonna do that. I just ground off all the little slag balls. This flux core wire on these MIG welders, they make a lot of slag balls. I worked this flange a little bit, welding it just a little bit. I'm not going to use a gasket, so I got to file this thing flat. Well, I got 6 inches down. I got a bunch to go. I'm going to take another wild stab at the angle I should probably have here. I just got to get down here and try to hold on to it somehow so I can mark it. That should be where I want it. I had to get under the car. I cut another chunk of pipe. Looks like I'm gonna have to do a couple more chunks. I cut this one already. I'm gonna have to tack it in the car. I want it kind of close to the exhaust because I'm gonna wrap it, and I think I want to strap it, put a hose clamp around it or something right on the exhaust so it doesn't rattle around. So that's kind of why I want to tack it down, because it's got to be just right. I think that's going to work. Yeah, give it a couple more tacks. So far, so too perfect. I'm just going to break out the Sawzall and just put a heavy angle on this pipe. I got one chunk of bent pipe I could have used, but I didn't. I just took a piece of straight pipe and I tacked it down. It should be good enough. It's not going to touch. Alright, now I'm going to try to cut this bad boy with it in here. I tightened it down so it doesn't move on me. Make sure this thing's spinning away from me. I got the angle. I'm going to take it out now and finish cutting it the rest of the way. I'm just going to scribe a line here. And that's right where I want it. I'm just going to hack it. I'm going to put this in the car one last time, make sure it's where I want it. I'm going to wrap this thing. That's going to work for me. This is the cheap eBay wrap. It is really cheap. It's really thin compared to the good name brand stuff. It's really frayed up too. It's just junk. Yeah, look at this stuff. It's all coming apart. This cheap Chinese garbage. Looks itchy, don't it? Actually kind of looks cool with the flash on it. And there it is. The finished product. I put a turbo blanket on this thing too. So I found one on eBay real cheap. Chinese turbo blanket. I think it came from China. Probably took a month to get here. That should help keep everything cool. Got a little hose clamp on there so it doesn't move at all. It won't vibrate loose or anything. So that's it. That's my screamer. Okay, I'm on to my intake air temperature sender. This one I cut. I did that in a previous video. And here's the original one. I got this one plugged in and I already plugged this one in, and I read them both with a scan tool and I made sure they both have the same values, and they do. They both read the same temperature. So this is going to be good. And I think I found a perfect place for this. Right here. I'm going to stick it in there somehow. That's nice. I like that. I don't want to screw it down and use nuts or anything, so I'm going to figure out a way to... I think I have a cheesy idea. Well, I figured out how to deal with this ridiculousness. It's kind of goofy, but whatever, it should work. I just took a couple of small bolts, put them upside down. Oh. Bad form, bad form. I'm just going to stick this down here with these little bolt heads sticking up. And the only reason why I'm doing that is so it'll hold these zip ties in. Looks kind of goofy, but that should hold boost really well. And it'll seal that little O-ring in there. It could leak a little bit too. It's not going to matter too much. That's about as cheesy as it gets, but it's going to work really nice. I got a Mac boost controller. I suppose I'll deal with this next. I'm not going to run a manual boost controller on this system because I got HON data. It came with some fittings and a breather. And I put some thread tape on this. They can leak a little bit. It's not going to matter too much. But the thing screws right in. It bottoms right out. So the fittings that came with this boost controller are completely retarded. I had these laying around. These are nice quality pieces. So I'm going to use these instead. Man, people sell a lot of junk. I can't believe all the junk I'm buying for this thing. These fit really nice. They already got sealant on the threads too. And the center is just a breather port. More buckets of fun. For whatever reason, the hole on the right doesn't go through. And the hole on the left is all boogered up. So I gotta drill these through. Okay. I'm figuring the best place to put this boost controller is right here on the strut tower. It should stay cool enough there. I'm going to screw it down too so it's got a little, hopefully it'll have a little, I don't know, heat sink. I'm going to go to the hardware store and I'm going to get some cute little nuts and bolts for this thing. In the meantime, I'm going to hook up a vacuum line. This one's going to go right to the turbo. And the top line is going to go manifold vacuuming through that boost controller. Then it's going to wind up going to this elbow I put on this turbocharger right here. Then this other line here, I think I'm going to tie into the brake booster. I got this gritty knockoff Chinese blow-off valve. It's adjustable. I took it all apart too to make sure it'd work and make sure it seals and make sure it's not stupid. And the only thing I don't like about it is there's a rubber ring here to seal this valve. It works though, it works really good. It seals really nice that way. I took it apart and made sure none of this rubber is going to separate or anything. It's got a gasket for it. I think it's a piece of crap, so I'm not going to use it. It'll probably blow out. I got a metric O-ring set here, and that's the closest one I could find. They obviously have some odd goofball size for this groove right here, but it looks like it's gonna work. I just gotta stretch it out a little bit. The groove is just a little too small too, but I think I can make it work just like that. You know what, I better put a little silicone paste on that O-ring. Yeah, that paste will probably help it squish down in that groove a little better. I don't want to get that too tight. I don't want to bend this flange. There, now it's worth more. They gave me a cool blue hose. I'll be using that. I gotta do something about making a manifold, because I gotta have 3 vacuum lines running out of it. Okay, so I went to the surplus store. I gotta make a manifold for this because I'm too cheap to want to buy one. I found some hard plastic, and I got these. I don't know if I'll be able to use them or not, but they were dirt cheap. Everything's dirt cheap. That place is awesome. I got these that came off of my my boost controller. I had an extra one, and I'm actually going to need 3 lines. And I had this one laying around, and I went to Maynard's and I got a plastic one because that's all I could find. These are all pipe, and this is straight thread. So I think this is like, it's like 9/16 fine thread. It's really close to this quarter pipe or whatever it is. I think it's quarter pipe. Yeah, quarter pipe. I got an 1/8 inch tap too, so I'm just gonna make my own manifold. And my brother-in-law gave me a bottle of really good whiskey for Christmas, so I'll be drinking that the whole time. I know I shouldn't be drinking while I'm making this stuff, but as I always say, if you can't do it drunk, you shouldn't be doing it sober. I also found these at the surplus store for a whopping 10 cents. It's all stainless steel too, and I'll be bolting my boost controller down with this nice stainless steel stuff. I took a grinder to this and tapered it down a little bit, and I got a quarter pipe die. Maybe I can make some threads on this thing. I just ground a whole bunch of these threads off. I made some pipe threads on that. See how she fares. I'm gonna be able to use that. Nice. Try the other side. Oh, it looks like it's a little off center. Oh no, what do I do? There's a whole bunch of little fingers of plastic junk in here. I don't know, I'm just gonna do this. That actually melted everything pretty good. Doesn't really matter too much, because the only thing I really got to worry about is a boost controller, and I'm going to filter it. I'm not going to need any thread sealant on this either. I mean, it's plastic on metal. The plastic itself is going to work as a good thread sealant, I'm sure. Nice. There it is. And this was a low cost of about, I think I spent $1.50 on this. That's nice and tight on there. That ain't going anywhere. Now there's a check valve right here. There's a little bump in the hose. I want to put this before the check valve somehow. I got one more in the center that I'm going to use for my boost gauge. I got a small engine stone fuel filter here. It tells you what direction to go in. So I should go in the direction of the vacuum, so I should point the arrow towards the boost controller. There's a screen on the boost controller, but I want to put this filter on it just to make sure it's always clean, because you don't want to filthy this up, because if the needle and seat in here dirties up, it's not going to seat right, and then you're screwed. So I need to keep this nice and clean. I want it as close to the boost controller as possible too, just because I think so. I'm going to adjust my blow-off valve just for fun. This will be the first time this thing sees boost pressure. I got this cheap turbo vacuum gauge I hooked up just for fun, and I got a timing light here that's got RPM. It's got an RPM scale on it. I don't know, it's kind of hard to see, but whatever. I'm going to need to know the RPMs that adjust this. Might help if I hooked up a vacuum gauge. Wow, it says I got over 20 inches of vacuum. I don't even know if that's right. That's a lot. I blipped the throttle, I can barely see it open. It feels like it's all the way loose, not doing anything. Yeah, this thing's all the way loose and it's still closed. That's not even cool. Basically, I want to bring this up to about 2,500 RPMs and make sure this doesn't leak. I want it to leak and then tighten this down harder until it doesn't leak. I got to take the top off of this thing and see if there's more than one spring in here. Yeah, I got 2 springs in here. I'm going to want to take out this little one. That should help. See, now it's hanging open. It's bottomed all the way out. Since one spring's too loose and 2 springs are too tight, I guess the only thing I can do is cut a rung off of this spring. I cut about a full rung off of this thing. Junk. This junk thing. Hey. Well, that's a lot closer than it was. I'm going to call that good enough. It doesn't open at 2,500 RPMs. That's going to be close. I'm going to leave it right there. Well, I think that's enough goofing around for the day. I installed my Hemi 300C air filter too. I've definitely done enough for the day. Okay, bye.